Okay, we're live. Hey, happy Saturday night, everybody. You're not all down the pub, obviously, because it's fucking no one's allowed down the pub. But I'm here and having a drink at home is Coke from Virus. And how you doing, mate?
Mr. Gray, as I live and breathe. It's been many a moon, sir, many a moon.
It has been a while.
It certainly has. As he takes another swig from the can of Guinness.
Yeah, can of inspiration.
Oh, fuck yeah. Can't help having a can of Guinness or 3 or 4 kicking around.
Yeah. So that's well, yeah, it's got to be done. You can't go out to the pub, so you got to bring it home with you. So let's start off with the history then of history of Virus. Obviously, Virus, thrash band, been around since the late 80s. You wasn't. Well, yeah, because you got an hour to fill, and people want to hear the story, but we want to hear your. Yeah, I think they do anyway. I want to know this story because, like, when I used to know you in London, we'd be like, "All right, Gray, how's it going? All right, Coke, just drinking. You're not really getting into a proper chat. You know what I mean?" So it's cool to have a.
And we gigged together.
Yeah, we did. My 40th birthday. You played my 40th birthday. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, long fucking 10 years ago now, man. 11. So, what's your music history then? How did you first get into playing guitar, liking the music you like?
Well. There's a couple of guys that lived around my way, and they were playing a lot of Van Halen stuff and a lot of Ozzy Osbourne stuff. And I wasn't really into that. I was more into Black Sabbath and Rush and the decent stuff. The stuff you could actually listen to and not think, I'll never fucking play that shit. I'll just play something simple like AC/DC. Those chops are fucking easy to play. But when it comes to playing like the Van Halen stuff and all that jiggery pokery stuff with Ozzy Osbourne, it's a challenge. So, and I saw those guys playing. A guy called Ruby and a guy called Trusty. They were from Dingwall, up in the very, 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 very highlands of Scotland, where sheep are member of their families. I mean, they were phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal musicians. I mean, you couldn't fault them for the musicianship. They're a couple of arseholes.
Oh, right.
A real couple of arseholes that were like lost in their own delusional thing that they were going to be famous somehow. They could have been. I mean, they were fucking excellent guitar players. Really, really amazed me, and that's how I got into playing guitar.
Right.
And and listening to all the stuff that was going around. I mean, I could never play Rush, but I always wanted to. And those guys taught me a few Rush tracks. So,
okay.
And I was about 15 at the time, I think, 15 or 16. I was just getting hair on the balls. So
cool. And what was the first what's the first metal memory you've got? I mean, what's the first thing you listened to? Go, fuck me, I like that music.
Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Lynyrd
Skynyrd was the very first thing I ever listened to. I think my mum wouldn't let me have Lynyrd Skynyrd, and she opted for Elton John. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I got smashed into 20,000 bits. As soon as I got it for my birthday, I went, "What the fuck are you playing at?" And she says like that, that's heavy rock. And I goes, "That's fucking Elton John. That's as heavy as you're going, my lad."
Oh no! Why was that then? You just didn't like the music? Because it wasn't a religious thing or nothing like that?
No, it wasn't a religious thing. She just wasn't into the music. She says all that caterwauling and shit up upstairs. Turn that long player off. Kids won't know what a long player is.
No, not anymore, probably. So, what about? How did you develop from then? What was your first bands? Did you have a couple of bands up there in Scotland?
Well, I got into punk. I got into punk really in a big way. I was listening to Sex Pistols early on. I was listening to the Clash, the Buzzcocks, the Damned, all the usual suspects, really, in the punk era. And I got totally into it. My father died in a car crash, and my mother kind of disowned me in a way because I was a very unruly kid, and I just got into with the wrong crowd. I was in a children's home for a while, sniffing glue and carrying on like a fucking idiot, getting my head shaved and becoming a skinhead and just rebelling against society in general. And then I kind of wisened up about about a year later, I would say, 1982. And I got, but I was always into the punk because I was an oi punk. So oi kind of represents punk and skinhead, and it's the amalgamation of the two. And there's no racism involved in it or anything, because I was listening to a lot of ska back there then as well. I mean, I was listening to a lot of ska, and I was going to the reggae sunsplashes. So there wasn't a hint of racism at all, and I've never been that way inclined because I've always liked reggae music. I fucking enjoyed it, and I don't even need to have a spliff to enjoy reggae.
Cool. So was there anything serious like band wise up there when you was there?
Yeah, I did a couple of projects up here. I did. I was in a band called Zombie Stomp. It was kind of just basically doing probably Rage Against the Machine sort of stuff like that. Products of Fear was another one that we did. That was kind of like Stuck Mojo.
Right.
It had that Stuck Mojo vibe to it.
Funky kind of vibe.
Well, I wouldn't say we weren't really funky because it wasn't really any sort of. It was probably the heavier end of Stuck Mojo.
Right.
The most stompy sort of thing. And then there was what else? Fuck else was there? There was a few. Urban Decay. I sung for a punk band called Urban Decay. Never got anywhere because I tried to play guitar at that time, and my fucking timing was atrocious.
So was Virus your first sort of serious band that sort of got somewhere? How did you end up in, because they were in Brighton? Well, they're not Brighton based. How did you end up in Brighton? How did that happen?
They were Brighton / Eastbourne based,
right?
And I knew those lads for a while because they were like ex-punks, and we went to Discharge concerts together, GBH concerts,
right?
Subhumans. We went to see Subhumans together, and we all sort of congregated at the 100 Club, and we all sort of, it was kind of like a little family. We always sort of knew who everybody was because it was like the usual crowd that went to the 100 Club every week. I mean,
this is in London 100 Club, yeah.
Morat was on the door, like just being the prick as usual. And I remember distinctly one night when the Exploited were playing there, and I hadn't really known the Virus Boys that long, and Watty wouldn't let me in. He thought he was being the hard man on the door, Watty from the Exploited. He was being the hard man on the door, going, "Hey, what are you doing here? What you wanting?" I said, "Well, we're wanting to come in." "No, you're not getting in." So I headbutted him down the stairs. And he's got a little scar above his eye. If you ever look and you see a scar above his eye, that was me. I split his eye open. And I don't think he remembers it because I saw him recently, and he was asking how my brother was doing. And
it was a long time ago. Walked under the bridge. He might have had too much drink to remember it afterwards, or concussion. Who knows?
Oh, he was coked out. He's not anyway, as usual.
Yeah.
Nothing new there.
So before you actually joined up with Virus, so you say, so you knew them. So did you know their first album?
Well, the funny thing was, it was like I was like sort of jamming along with the guys from Deathwish.
Oh yeah.
And I really got to know Virus a bit more because I didn't know the guys from Deathwish actually knew Virus.
Right.
And some of the guys that were in Deathwish, which was Brad Sims and my mate Dan, who plays in Hydrovane.
Yeah.
Dan, oh God, I've forgotten Dan's name now. That's old age for you. But I was jamming with them, and I was just like, I was just sort of noodling and doodling because Danny's a great guitar player, and I think just through a mutual friend, I got they heard that Virus were looking for a guitar player, and I didn't even know who Virus was. But then I realised who they were when they gave me. I met them at the 100 Club, and they gave me a demo. And he says, "Well, have a listen to it, see what you think." And I thought, shit. It was a Pray for War demo, but I was dying to get in a band, so I said, "Yeah, fuck it, all right." So I did that.
They'd already recorded. Was that their demo that became an album, or was it? Was it just like a? So that was pressed straight to vinyl. Was it that demo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. that was pretty rough. I remember I think that was probably, I can't remember if that was the first one that I got of theirs, but it was like, oh man, it sounded like it recorded in a fucking toilet block or something, you know, in a campsite. It was really.
I think it was a garage in Brighton.
Did you know anything about the band from that time? How the recording went down, or because was it Metalworks? Was that the label?
Well, yeah, but they weren't on Metalworks when they did the demo because they sent the demo out to different companies and were knocked back several times. Probably likely because it was just a pile of shite. But yeah, I think their main goal was they wanted to be Discharge #2. That was their main goal. They didn't want to get too heavy metal. They wanted to keep it punky with with this thrash type of DRI type drive to it. I think. A bit like DRI, a bit like Discharge, but keep the the big GBH influence in there, the big Discharge influence, the big English Dogs influence. Those that was the main protagonists at the time that were kind of like jumping over to something a bit more heavy metal.
Yeah. So was you like, did you relocate to Brighton for the band, or was you all in London, or?
I was living in London. I was living in digs in London, and then I picked up. I picked up. I was under the impression I was going to live in Brighton, so I was all up for it. I was like, Brighton by the sea. It's fucking London by the sea. It's great. I'll have a fucking great time. Get pissed and stoned. It'll be fucking amazing. So what happened was they invited me down to fucking sleepy old fucking Blue Rinse Eastbourne. to have a jam, and they said, "Have you learnt the songs?" I went, "Of course I've learnt the songs." And they said, "Well, do you want to come down and have a jam and see how it goes?" So I went down, and I was interested because it was like a totally new experience. And when they showed me their band room with all the fucking gear that they had, I was like, "Now, where the fuck did all that come from?" And they went, "You don't want to know." And I said, "Well, I'll leave it for that for now." And I was pretty sort of blasé about the whole thing because, I knew I could play their stuff. And I wasn't being big-headed because, for fuck's sake, a fucking trained monkey with a fucking arthritis could play their stuff. Honestly. And it wasn't hard. And I found some of the songs okay. Scarred for Life was all right. And TNT was pretty good. But the other stuff, but the singing was fucking dreadful. And I always told them it was dreadful. I said, "Oh fuck, man, you need to have some singing lessons." And, no, that's the way the kids want it. That's the way the kids want it. No, they don't. No, they want to hear the Metallica, Slayers, Megadeth, and fucking Anthrax. They don't want to hear that shit. and they were true to form.
Yeah. They did start off like because they had that skate kind of theme, didn't they? Like skate. Were they actually skaters, or is it just for a show?
Well, they had that mentality. They had the skater mentality. Unfortunately, we didn't have the talent to go with it.
Did you ever skate?
Yeah, I skated a bit. I wasn't very good. But, I went out skating with my mates Jamie and the guys down the waterfront, and Justin Hodgkins, who was a great skater. Justin was a great skater, man. And we put up like a little street ramp, and we used to do like ollies off the street ramp. I used to do this tiny little method air off this fucking street ramp, and I thought, oh, I've done an air. Yes, I'm great. But as the band was going, at the time it was excellent because we were sponsored by Slam City Skates, so it was a big deal for us. And that kind of pushed us into a skating, I suppose. That skating atmosphere.
Scene, yeah.
Well, the atmosphere, because a lot of us attended the half pipe in Brighton watching the big boys skate. One of our roadies, Buzz, was and Deacon, another guy from Brighton. They were at professional level, easy, and they became our roadies. They were fucking great skaters, and I skated in Eastbourne quite a lot with I forgot his name as well. And Neil was a great skater, man, and I learned a lot from him. And we used to do like downhill from Beachy Head. We used to skate down from Beachy Head straight into Brighton. It was fantastic. At 3 o'clock in the morning. 3 o'clock in the morning, pissed out of our heads. You know, you take a big carry up onto Beachy Head, and then you just fucking ride down at the end of the night, pissed out of your nut. Like, passing police cars, hi.
I could never stand up on a fucking skateboard for more than 2 seconds. It just fucking needs to go the other way. I'd go one way, the skateboard would go the other way. So, so when you joined, you like after the first album out, you wasn't that impressed with it. Was it you that created the big change between the first album and the second album? Was it your influence on it, or was there other factors involved? What can you talk us through the process leading up to the second album?
The second album was really. The rest of them got pissed. Went away and did their own thing, and well, some of them had girlfriends. I didn't have a girlfriend at the time, so I suppose I was at a loose end. But I was dedicated to the music. You know, I was dedicated to making these guys something, you know, something to write about. You know, and so I took all my influences at the time. I was listening to a lot of different diverse thrash from fucking from Voivod to Mordred to you know, I was still listening to punk stuff. I still listen to punk stuff to this day. But you know, and taking stuff from bits of Rush and stuff like that. You know, just to enhance things. You probably don't think it sounds like it on Force Recon, but there is an element of Rush there, and it's probably hidden. But yeah, I wanted to make it more thrash metal rather than thrash there before. But I think it was, and this is not being narcissistic or anything like that, but I think I could play better than them, and I kind of elevated their playing, really, because it was a challenge. It was a challenge for some of them because I didn't often write in 4/4, and that was their big problem. They were so used to doing it in 4 measures. And I always like to play out of the box. You know, I always like to have it 4/4, 1 minute, 3/4, 4/4 with an extra 3/4 at the end. You know, it was always offbeat. I always wanted it to be offbeat, and I don't think a lot of them. I mean, Force Recon could have been a much better album. You know, much better album if they'd taken their time and, you know, they'd worked on it a lot more. But Metalworks pushed us to get an album out, a second album out, and I went into the studio. I did a load of solos that I thought were really cool. You know, they were kind of neoclassical type solos, and they just fucking dismissed them and then went back to the pub. And I was still in the studio, so I just fucking lost the plot and just started doing Slayer solos and just putting down any old shit. And and the producer, his name was Bernie, he was we called him Bernie the Button, because, you know, it was back in those days to edit things, it was just a push of a button. You know, you didn't have all this fucking cut and paste job. It was like, oh, that's it. Oh, missed it. Oh, have to go back. Oh, yeah.
Wow. Old school.
Stuff,
yeah.
Real. Yeah. Back in those days, it was real. Yeah. Real. And I built up a really good relationship with Bernie. And I just said, look, fuck it, Bernie. I'm just going to fucking do like a whole with let them fucking sort that out. And I did. It came back and they got into an argument about it and said, oh, you're not fucking trying hard enough. I says, fucking trying hard enough. You're trying as hard as you can to fucking piss me off. And it says, and that's not how to get things done. They went, oh, just, and fucking Henry just went like that, oh, just fucking get on with it. And he went back out to the pub again. And you know, that was their thing.
Yeah.
They didn't really want to put the effort into it.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of Virus's downfall, because they wouldn't put the effort in, they wouldn't put the time, and I don't think Henry for a start pushed himself as far as he could, because his vocals were very mediocre and his guitar playing was even less. So, and he wouldn't turn up for practices a lot of the time. So, and he said, "Oh, I'll get it on the day. I'll get it on the day." And eventually, yeah, I know. But given his due, when he came to play it live, I mean, he did play it okay, but he cheated.
Right.
He cheated a lot because he didn't play as much as he should have.
Right. So he played part of the riff.
So he played part of the riff, like shut the guitar off, put part of the riff on, play the part of the riff again when it got easier, then shut it off, then start it again when my solo came in because it needed the heaviness behind the solo.
Yeah.
Here's all the little secrets coming out.
Yeah. So it sounds like the band wasn't as much priority for them as it was for you. What about the writing of the album? Did you write a lot of the music on the album? Because there was only like a gap of about a year between the 87 one and the 88 one. Did you have a lot to do with the writing and on that, or was it already in place when you got there?
No, I wrote Post Recon from scratch. It was totally different. They wanted something different, and they locked me in the band room and just said, "Get in there. We'll come back in about 6 hours. Come back and see what you've got." And I'm not joking. That's basically what it was, because obviously I was the new boy there, and and there was a fucking a northerner as well, which probably didn't help these fucking southern softies. But they didn't actually treat you. I felt like I was, I don't know, a little bit disjointed from them sometimes because those guys grew up together.
Yeah.
So I felt a little bit disjointed and wasn't able to play in all the reindeer games.
You were Rudolph. About the lyrics, did you write all the lyrics as well then? Because it's all like
no, Henry wrote the lyrics.
Right.
Henry wrote the lyrics, but he let us see them, and I would query them, but I didn't have much of a say about the lyrics because he was steadfast in his ideas about the lyrics. He wouldn't give anybody a fucking look in. It was here are my lyrics, and they're staying like that. I said, well, I don't. That's okay. I mean, his lyrics weren't half bad.
Yeah.
I mean, but
very war themed.
But but that's what we were into at the time. I mean, like we were totally into the Vietnam films, hence the Post Recon.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the films at the time were Hamburger Hill and Full Metal Jacket and the Lost Boys. No. I don't know why I said that.
It was a film at the time, but it wasn't war related. But yeah,
I know. It was. It wasn't.
Platoon, was that a film at the time?
Yes.
Was that?
Yeah. That was. That was around at the time. Definitely. Yeah, we watched them all. And I think that kind of helped it along a bit.
Yeah. So once the album came out, because Metalworks didn't last for long, did they? Were they like a kind of like they had a few albums? I remember seeing a poster with a few albums on there, but there wasn't like a very long ongoing label, were they?
Well, they had Bernie Tormey on their label. Right?
Okay.
I don't know if you remember Bernie Tormey.
Yeah, the name.
Yeah, Bernie Tormey was on there, and Annihilated were on there for a little while until they were fucked over.
Right.
And they were royally fucked over.
Oh, right.
Because the Metalworks thought that we were the golden boys.
Right.
They thought that we were the meal ticket for them. How wrong they were. Better luck next time, guys.
Yeah.
And they had Deathwish on the label as well. And, but they all those bands always came up second best because Henry had some sort of connection to the record company. And John Connolly told me this many years ago when we played with Nuclear Assault. He said, do you know your manager and your record company are one of the same people? And I went, yeah, what does that mean? I was totally naive. And he says, well, that there, if I'm not mistaken, is a conflict of interest, between the band and the record company. Yeah. Because your record company is also your fucking manager. And I went, you know what, John? You're fucking right there, man. It is. So, I mean, there's no conflict. They're not representing the band.
No.
The record company, because they are the fucking record company. So there's no arguments.
Yeah, it's true. So once the album came out, what was the reviews like? I think I've seen mixed reviews. I can't remember now. I can't remember from that day. I remember I liked it. I bought it. I think it might have been the first one I got, and I really liked it. But when I went back to Pray to War, I was like, oh fuck me, what's this crap? But yeah, the Force Recon is like one of my favorite UK thrash albums of all time. I think. What's your memories of around that time when the album came out and gigging supporting it?
Well, when I saw the album, I was delighted because had a picture of me on it for a start, and I'd never seen myself on an album ever.
Yeah,
you know, and that was interesting. And then hearing your music, you know, for the first time, it's a big deal. You know, I was only early 20s, you know, and like to me, it was like a massive deal. You know, actually hearing it for the first time. And okay, you know, at that time, I was over the moon. I was like, I was crazy over the moon. Really, I was like, fucking hell, is that us? Because obviously, because it sounded so different from Pray for War. I mean, in its extremity, it sounded so much different, and that's what really appealed to me about it. Because I didn't want it. I didn't want it to be Pray for War 2, not in a fucking million years. And if I hadn't joined the band, it would have been Pray for War Mark II. So, in doing that, I wanted to bring all my influences, and make it a decent album. Obviously, it had its faults. Definitely, it had its faults. I mean, there's a lot of playing on it that is out of time, and out of sync. I mean, the singing's out of sync, and a lot of it. But I mean, there's one or two good tracks, and that's why I still play them. Because I enjoyed writing them and I enjoyed playing them. But Henry wanted to go with the futuristic Vietnam thing, so I was happy to go along with it. But yeah, I think
they got a very like rough charm. I always love them with the warts and all kind of like album. Yeah, you know?
It got mixed reviews. You know, I mean, I don't think Kerrang liked it too much. What
a Kerrang now.
Oh, look at them. Fucking Gallows, come on. Fucking Murder Dolls. God, they're a great band, aren't they?
So what about gigs? You did quite a lot from it, didn't you? You did get a lot of gigs and supports and so forth.
Well, we were lucky. We had a great promoter promoting us, John Curd. He did all the stuff at the Hammersmith Odeon. He did all the stuff at the Clarendon. He did all the stuff at Dingwalls. He promoted everything in London, but he just didn't promote in London. He promoted from Newcastle to Brighton. He had that's how we got the gigs, because John Curd was a friend of one of the managers. Let's say.
Right, that's cool. So
one of the managers.
Right. So when you went there, so like you started off doing recording. Had you gigged already with the band? Did you gig before you brought out Force Recon, or was it like heads down, do Force Recon, and then start gigging?
No, it was do Force Recon first.
Yeah,
and because we hadn't gigged before that at all.
Right.
And even my colleague Yazim Hanif, who did the solos for the band, he never actually gigged with Virus at all. And he's a much better player than me.
Right.
And he only did the solos on the album. And he did it in his own studio in his bedroom. And apparently, you know, it was very sort of basic.
Right.
But no, they never gigged before I joined the band.
Right. So who did you gig with? What was the first gig, and what was the first tour supporting Force Recon?
The first gig was my dream gig. Was totally my dream gig, and that was Suicidal Tendencies at the Clarendon.
Right.
With Chelsea supporting as well, but they were fucking dreadful. And I just wanted to boot Gene October in the balls, because he was just an utter fucking dick.
Right.
Absolute dick, man. I couldn't stand the guy. He was just like a punk diva. Right.
It's funny. Okay, cool. So was that a tour with them, or was it just a one-off gig?
No, it was a one-off gig. It was just to promote the album.
Right.
And they thought, what better way to promote the album than play with a big band?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought, well, that's okay. we were basically thrown in the deep end, really. I mean, it was an honour to play with those guys and meet those guys and hang out with Rocky George and Dave Herrera, and Mike Muir and all them.
Were they all good guys?
Oh, fantastic! Absolutely fantastic. It was such a good time, and like they really took the piss out of us when it came to drinking. Because they played some game called Quarters. Where you take a quarter and they throw it into the beer, and whoever's beer it lands in, you got to drink all the beers that are in the centre of the table. Unfortunately, we didn't know that they were professionals at the fucking game. So we ended up fucking floored. And they were laughing their tits off at us. Because we both had interviews in a pub in Notting Hill Gate. And they said, "Hey man, why don't we play this game called Quarters, man? You'll love it. You'll really love it, you guys." And I went, "Yeah, I'm up for it, right? You know, I'm fucking Scottish. I love to drink, you know." And Rocky George was pissing himself. I said, "What are you laughing at?" And he goes, "Oh, you'll see, buddy. You'll see." And you know, and obviously, you know, we were fucking novices at it, and the Quarters were never ever going to go in the drink anyway.
Right. Cool. What other gigs did you do supporting that? Did you have a little tour? Did you have a tour or nothing like that? Or was it just like single gigs here and there?
Yeah, it was single gigs here and there, and we did. The first tour we did was with the Cro-Mags,
right?
And that was exciting because you had these 5 New Yorkers that were just fucking hardcore guys. I mean, they were like tattooed up like us. You know, they had the same attitude as us, better songs than us. You know, and they had a stage show to go with it. I mean, they were fucking unstoppable. I mean, they were fucking amazing. I mean, really tight. And I got to know Dougie Holland from the Cro-Mags really well, and he was such a nice guy. And Paris Mayhew, the rest of them were just fucking arseholes. They really were. I couldn't stand Harley Flanagan. I just thought he was a little shit. He was just up his own arse about everything. And John Joseph, another one. I'm a big hard man. Oh, look at me. I'm built like Bruce Lee, and I can run 23 miles without stopping. So fucking what?
I could drink 5 pints.
Yeah, and I could probably wank faster than you. Right? Come on.
All right, so So leading up to Lunacy, then, is that another one? Did you write that? Was the band being more serious after Force Recon?
Yeah, because we did the Monster Mosh and Force Recon. You know, I said, why don't we do another cover on Lunacy? You know, to keep that happy thrash thing going.
It was a UK fresh thing, wasn't it, to have like cover versions and probably all fresh. Yeah.
Yeah, that time you had Hanging on the Telephone, Acid Rain. And Lawnmower Death did
Kids in America.
Kids in America, yeah. And I think somebody else did something, but they were unknown.
Ghostbusters by Zentrix.
Zentrix, yeah, but that was later on.
Yeah,
that was later on. They jumped on the bandwagon because I think they came out about 90, didn't they?
Something like that. Yeah, a little bit later.
Yeah. But so now they decided to go serious, and I think it was the management that decided, you know. We want to make an impression. We made an impression on the American market because we got signed by Combat, and because we got signed by Combat, and the prestige being on that record label with all those other bands who were on that record label. I mean, there was massive names on that record label, and Little Old Virus right stuck in between them. And to me at the time, I was totally naive about it. I just said, let's go over the States and start touring. And we were going to be touring. We were going to be touring with Death in America. That was our first American tour. Was going to be with Death because I think they were bringing out, was it Spiritual Healing, or I think at the time it was Spiritual Healing.
Probably.
And we were all ready to go. We had visas and everything ready, and then we got our tickets. We were all ready to go, and the management said, "Combat have dropped us."
Oh.
I mean, oh, for fuck's sake, really? And they've dropped Death as well.
All right.
And they dropped the Cro-Mags, and they dropped Nuclear Assault, and they dropped Death Angel, and they started dropping all these bands, and the only ones they were keeping was the big names like Joe Satriani and even Megadeth got the shove, I think, because they went to Metal Blade,
right?
Because they got fucked around. Basically, Combat were in it for the money, I think.
Yeah,
and they knew we weren't making them any money, so.
Is that a mistake? Maybe going to be a small fish in a big pond on a big label might be better off staying as the big fish in like a small label.
Well, I think it helped us. It helped our status in the States because people wouldn't know about us now if it wasn't for Combat in America, basically, because we were unknown, absolutely unknown, and people in the States had never heard of us. And the only reason they do know about us is because they have the Combat version of Force Recon.
Okay, right. So we'll speed up a little bit because we want to talk about the new album and that, and the new lineup and so forth. But how did it end up after Lunacy? How did the band split?
Because Henry was an arsehole.
No.
He fucked up. He fucked up I think we did the Christmas on Earth. First on the bill to Megadeth and a few others. Last Rocket were on that bill, and he fucked that gig up totally. He'd been drinking. We'd all been drinking, and he decided after that. I think we did one tour after that, and he made an absolute. We played in Birmingham. That was it. We played in Birmingham at the Moseley Centre in Birmingham with Carcass and Napalm Death. They were only like 16 years old, those guys at that time. So, they were fledglings. And he made a complete arse of us. Acid Rain were on that bill as well. And he totally made an arse of us. And I think that was our demise right there because he had a drinking problem.
Yeah.
And he got violent quite a lot if he didn't get his own way.
Right.
But I wanted him to start on me, but he wouldn't. I think it was a Scottish thing or something.
So was it?
Lunacy was gone, and like I think they had their own agenda, what they were deciding to do, and they had it planned. I just think because we weren't getting on as a group. They had other plans, and they moved to America.
Right. So it wasn't so much of a split. It was more like getting rid of you and then starting again somewhere else, was it?
Well, getting rid of me and getting rid of John, the bass player.
Right.
Because John wouldn't leave his family, wouldn't leave his wife or anything like that, to go and live in America. Well, his girlfriend, because they were. John had a really good relationship, and I knew something was up. I just knew something was up because they wouldn't let me take the vocals, and I said, look, if he goes, take the vocals. And Tez turned around and said, Virus isn't Virus without Henry.
Right.
I said, well, now that's it fucked. It's fucked right there because if you're not prepared to let me have a go at it. That's it.
Yeah.
So that was it.
Okay. So they never actually got anywhere in America, did they? Did they get a stable lineup out there?
No. They didn't get a stable lineup at all. They got a couple of session guys in to do. Excuse me, I'm just getting a beer.
No worries, mate. No worries.
They got a couple of guys in to do some stuff, but it went tits up pretty quickly.
Right, because the Virus did have a bit of a reputation for being a little bit controversial, hard to sort of deal with, like a bit fighty maybe, and also you had a kind of
I knew you were going to say that.
You had a bit of
a to come up.
Well, you've mentioned it quite a bit, like in passing, like you got a bit, kind of a hate relationship with the press, kind of went on for quite a while.
Yeah.
Anything you want to divulge about that?
Maybe. I can remember one incident where we were all ready to go to the Hippodrome to watch Raven, and there was a certain journalist that was reviewing Lunacy at that time, and we ended up in the Kit Kat Club. I don't know if you remember it.
Nah.
It was in Wardour Street, and we were all really, really very pissed because we'd done an interview that day. We'd done a couple of interviews that day. And we've been in Shades quite a lot, checking out the album sales and stuff like that. And we spent the whole day in London and we were really pissed. So by the time we got to Kit Kat Club, we were well on, and I met this Italian journalist there, and she kind of clicked with me, you know, and I said, would you like a drink? And she said, yeah, what are you having? She said, I want to interview you guys. And I goes, why don't you just come back to the hotel and interview me? And she said, oh, you're a bit forward, aren't you? So I was like, I had my hand on her bum up at the bar, and this little fucking fink comes up behind me and goes like that. That's my girlfriend. I went, oh really? Why don't you fuck off before I knock you out? And I suppose that was the wrong move, because I was totally into getting her bedded. And that's old school. That's not like now. I'm a different person. But, yeah, he says. And and it was, and this little dick wouldn't stop annoying me. So I turned around and I headbutted him over a couple of tables, and he landed down a couple of chairs and was bleeding somewhere. I don't know. And then I found out from a friend that it was Mr. Xavier Russell of Kerrang.
Oh, right. Oh, that's unfortunate.
And, yeah, very unfortunate, because the next day he says, I'm reviewing your album, fuckers. And I went, nah, you're not. Nah, you're not. Then next week in Kerrang, because Kerrang came out the week after that.
Yeah.
We've got the lowest any other band has ever had in Kerrang, half a star.
Oh God. Have you still got that review, like framed on your wall or something like that?
I wish I fucking did. I really did.
So, looking back on your time and the first incarnation of Virus, what's the happiest memories of that? What do you think is the most, the best pinnacle of that time?
On the
musically,
road.
On the road, yeah.
Oh, musically.
Yeah, well, anything, yeah.
Oh, touring with Celtic Frost and Creator, without a doubt.
Yeah.
That was the pinnacle.
Yeah.
That was the pinnacle. Touring with Celtic Frost and Creator.
Yeah.
Creator, you couldn't met a better bunch of guys. Celtic Frost, that's a different story.
Right.
But
good band though.
Great band. Great band. But it was amazing watching these bands, and you learn. When you tour with a big band, you learn.
Yeah,
you really do. If you really want it, then you learn.
So what would you say was your favourite album out of the three? Lunacy, yeah. Personally, I don't know if because I listened to Force Con first, but I like everything on Force Con. But on Lunacy, it's like 2 or 3 tracks, 2 really cool tracks, and then the other ones are kind of like, yeah, they're okay, but maybe it's because I didn't listen to it enough, you know. But Force Con, I listened to it a lot of times because I didn't have so many albums when I first got it.
Yeah, because I think there's a progression again.
Yeah,
there was a progression. I don't know whether it went in the right direction, but it was a progression, and I mean, I got better at that time, and. I was listening to a lot of different stuff, and I was like incorporating in the music because I wanted every song to be different. I didn't want it to sound the same, and a lot of bands were sounding a bit samey. And I've never been like that. I've always liked to mix it up in songs, and that's what I've done. But yeah, I would say Lunacy.
Yeah, cool. Well, let's move on, right? So when did that finish? When did they move to America?
1990.
1990. Right. And when did you decide, like, obviously years later, did you have any bands in between in that period before you kicked off Virus again?
No, I had a kind of a breakdown, a really bad breakdown. I didn't want to be involved in music for a while. I mean, I stopped playing guitar for about 3 years because I just felt that my whole life had just been turned upside down, and I wasn't interested in playing music. I was just always interested was getting drugged and taking loads of drugs.
All right.
As you do.
Well, yeah, can happen. Definitely can happen. Yeah. So how long? So that was 1990, and how long before you started this? Thought yourself, I want to do a band again. I'm going to restart Virus on my fucking own. Fuck the other guys.
2007.
Right. So what's that? 17 years?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Now, it was only because of somebody invited me to go and see Gamma Bomb in my hometown, and somebody said, these songs are not unlike yours. The early Gamma Bomb. He said they're not unlike the songs, the riffs that you used to play, and I didn't see it. I still don't see it, to be quite honest. So I saw the guys, and I said they were Virus fans. They liked our stuff. And a guy called Dave Death from Aberdeen, who was a guy in a wheelchair, and said, "Man, you can fucking do it. You can do it again." Big mega fan, and he tried to twist my arm several times, and I said no. And then I decided to do it. And I called up John from Old Virus, and he didn't want to do it unless there was money involved in it. I said, "Well, I'm not really interested in the money. I just want to get our status back up to where we were." I wasn't interested in that. And then Tez wasn't interested in it. He says he didn't want to do it if Henry wasn't a part of it. And Henry was in America at that time, so he wasn't going to be any part of it. But it was just egos, just egos, I think, in that side of things. But for me, it was passion. It was passion to get back into it, because I was listening to a lot of the new bands and thinking, fucking hell, these guys really fucking kick ass.
Because Thrash had come back in a big way. It sort of gone off the musical landscape for a bit, but then it started coming back, and some old bands were re-emerging, and you were like, fucking get in there. So how did you sort out the lineup then? How did you get the first? What was the first gig when you were back?
Well, I was living in digs above the Bedford Hotel in Streatham, and I decided to do the whole fucking every single album, a track at least from every single album, a bit more from the albums that I liked, and albums that I thought the people would like.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, it was Force Recon we played the most of. It wasn't really anything else, because I thought to myself, that's the album that really sold the most, if you think about it. And I got together a really decent lineup. I mean, I got the guitarist from Matron, Sam, brilliant guitarist, great guitarist. I actually wanted James McAvoy to play guitar for us as well. And James McAvoy from Chaos Sanct and Cradle of Filth.
Right.
He a good friend of mine, and I really wanted him to play for us, but he had too many things on the go. And then I got Dave Sherwood.
Yeah.
It was just a chance meeting with Dave, and I think we kind of clicked, but I think he was a bit scared of me.
Well, he was just a kid at the time, wasn't he? He was only 17. Yeah.
16, 17.
Yeah.
What a drummer. Fucking
yeah.
I went on to bigger and better things.
Yeah. He's not doing anything now, though. He's looking for a new band at the moment, I think.
Wow.
He had to take a couple of years off.
It won't take long for him to get back in it.
Yeah. And what about the first gig? What was the first gig? What was it like for doing the first gig after so long?
It was strange. It was strange because I didn't know how many people would actually turn up to see us. And it was in the Bedford in Streatham, and it's not particularly a big place, but the place was fucking packed. I couldn't believe it. I really didn't think this was going to work to start with, but I knew we were capable of playing it because we were practicing there, and we just did a really good set, and it went really well. I think it's actually on YouTube, the very first gig.
Cool. Yeah, I think I got to the second gig. I think you played there again a little while later. I was at that one, but I fucking wasn't filming gigs at that time. I wish I'd been fucking filmed. I wish I'd filmed that fucker. But I was kind of like glad I didn't film it because I was fucking down the front, fucking wrecking my fucking neck to lunacy and seeing his. Yeah, that's cool. And then so you've had a few like EPs and stuff. But you've had a lot of stuff up sort of. That lineup, how long was that lineup last for? About a year or two? Because you've had quite a lot. You've had so many lineup changes in the period, like from like when you reformed to now. Any idea how many lineups you've been through?
Pass.
I
don't know.
What is that down to? Because a lot of the time it's people who've got other bands, and also you've had to relocate and that kind of stuff.
I just think people they had different ideas to what I had in mind, and I think it was all to do with their dedication as well. Some of them just weren't passionate enough or dedicated enough to throw their money into something that they thought might have gone down the tubes at any moment. But I still stuck my neck out and put my money in. I always have, and I still do.
Yeah. suppose you're more invested in it than anyone else that comes in. Anyone else that comes in just thinks it's your band, and we're just,
It's not. It's not. It's when you come into Virus, you're part of the family.
Yeah.
It's not a me thing, Gray.
Yeah.
You know, I've never thought it that way. I've never thought of it that way. I'm not Rogue Mail.
But
go on.
You've had a few EPs as well, haven't you? So like in the time. So Raped by Mutants, Quality. I don't think I've got New Strain of an Old Disease. I think I played it on the podcast. I don't know if I ever got a copy of it or not. I might have it. I might have it. I can't, because nowadays you don't fucking, there's always digital crap in there. I've probably got on digital or something like that. And
it's on Spotify.
Yeah, I might have got a digital copy of it. So, but these are all self-released. When they Raped by Mutants, Strain of an Old Disease, these are all brought out yourself. Yeah. Let's actually, how do you think recording has changed? The technology has changed in that time. Did you actually go into a studio, or did you self-record these ones? How did you do them?
No, they were all done in the studio. All done in the studio. Some of them were done at separate times, and some of them were done, done all together. And when we were all there, but time constraints and all that sort of shit. We recorded this New Strain in Ipswich, which was the home of Danny from Annihilated.
Right.
He was the guy who recorded it for us, and he was the guy who mixed it for us. And we recorded everything in 3 days.
Right.
Because of time constraints and money, how much it was costing us. But he did a fantastic job, absolutely fantastic job. I was really happy with that EP, more happy than any other EP. And there's only one.
Also, right. So now you've relocated, haven't you? Because you was in London for a long time. You was in London. You've gone back up to Dundee now. Is it you're at?
Yeah, for my own health and fucking sanity, I think.
Yeah. Was London getting too much?
I was going through a really bad patch, and there was had a couple of close calls with Dr. Death. Not the band.
Not the band.
Well, I've had a few close calls with them as well. But,
yeah.
Jamie.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but it was a really hard time. I had to get out of there because it was going to kill me. It really was going to kill me. Because it's sink or swim there. It really is sink or swim. And, if you don't live there, if you weren't brought up there, it's a hard place.
You got no family there or that kind of thing. Sometimes you just need to be with your family and your people you grew up with, didn't you?
You need to be closer to them. Let's move on to the new album. Come on.
Yes, let's move on to the new album. Yes, over to you. So you've gone to Dundee.
Yeah.
What, got a brand new lineup, or is this like Dundee lineup version 1, or has there been a few lineup versions in Dundee?
This is the lineup prior to the lineup now. But I've still got one of those members in the band.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I put a picture in the blog for of the band. I thought, I hope this is a current picture. There was not like people from like 3 bands ago. So, right, how did it happen? How did it come about? How long has it been in the making? This new album?
It's been years in the making, really. It's been in the making since London, really.
Yeah.
Because I was wanting to record it in London. And I changed it. I changed quite a lot of it. I changed bits up here and there because I thought it was getting too new metal. And I thought, I'm not getting into that fucking thing because I'm an old schooler. So I want to keep it as old school as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And, and again, the bands I was listening to back in the 80s is basically what I put into this because it's my favourite time of thrash. So... And Evilution, as the play on words, announce Evilution. It's because we're in evil times.
Yeah.
And this has come out at the right time, basically, because we're in an evil time. And it's the dawn of the apocalypse. It fucking is, man. We're like...
Yeah, I know what you mean. It certainly feels like it, doesn't it? Some of the fucking shit that's going down nowadays. You look at some of the...
Yeah, go on.
Some of the stuff going on in the world, and you're just like, wow, you could fucking never picture it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say it. I know I mentioned it before we started going live, but about the virus, the band being fucked up by the virus, the pandemic virus. How does that feel, man? Ironic.
it's going to be a cliche for years, isn't it?
Yeah.
Virus fucked up by the virus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Virus gets fucked by virus.
Yeah, because you've had fucking launch date, like a launch gig in London, like been fucking changed about 3 times, isn't it?
Yeah, the lineup's been changed about fucking 10 times, I think.
What, since the recording of the album, or?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We had a couple of bands that were on there, and they weren't suitable.
Right.
But Alan Hicks has polished it all up.
Yeah.
And, I think he's got a good lineup there. I'm really happy the lineup that he got.
It's really scheduled for April now, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. Well, I think it's March 25th or something. But that might still be a problem.
Yeah, I know. But tell us about the album then. Tell us about the album. You know, tell us about the songs on the album, the writing of the album. Sell it to us.
Well, okay. The album basically is it's just a conglomeration of the things that are happening in the world now, the state of things, really. I kind of embellished it by putting on things like a futuristic virus that's completely fucking annihilated the whole world. Well, I did that a couple of years ago. I wrote that and I thought, wishful thinking there. And that was Evilution Apocalypse, and that was the idea behind that, the song. Thrashville is a dedication to Mr. Mr. Dave Ingram, who fronted the Full Thrash Assault, with a very, very good friend of mine who died, took his own life. Last year. I think it was last year. And that whole song is dedicated to him. And if you read the lyrics, you'll see he's mentioned in it, and Annihilated are mentioned in it as well.
Yeah. Didn't you do like guest vocals on one of his songs for his band? They did
I was supposed to.
Oh, did you not get there? Oh.
Well, I didn't actually get there. I was supposed to, and I kicked myself for it. And I kept on saying to Dave, "I don't have enough time, mate. I'm booked up with a lot of shit. I really want to do it." He said, "No pressure, man." Next thing I know, the week later, he's dead.
Yeah.
Well, I would have done it, man. I would have done it for Dave because.
Yeah, he was like a fresh stalwart, wasn't he? He was stalwart with a fresh scene in the UK.
Oh, definitely. He was keeping it going, man. The Full Thrash Assault was what people look forward to up north. I mean, it was great, and it was an atmosphere. It was just a true thrash atmosphere, and everybody got on. And that's the way every gig should be.
So the new album, is it 100% your writing, or did anyone else help? Like,
no, it's 100% my writing. The music's mine, and the vocal and the lyrics are mine.
Yeah.
The guys the next album will be combined. You know, it will be a combined effort.
Yeah. Have you got a dedicated lineup now in the band, or is it?
So.
Yeah. Are they all in other bands as well, or is Virus their only band?
A couple of them have got their own thing going. The bass player is a really talented guy called Will Shields, who writes his own music. He plays guitar, bass, keyboards, drums. He plays drums very well as well. Oh. You know, and he's got his own Patreon site and everything. You know, so he's doing really well. And I really clicked with the guy because he's got mental health problems, as I've got mental health problems. Got Liam Hasty on the drums, who was like a fucking gift from God or Satan, whichever way you want to look at it. And he's just a phenomenal drummer. I mean, this guy is 23 years old, yet his knowledge of thrash is greater than mine. It's unbelievable how much he knows. And he's telling me about these thrash bands I've never even heard of. I'm like, Christ almighty. And when did they come out? 2016? No, they were out in 1991. What?
Oh man, you've been schooled about thrash by a young up and coming thrasher, yeah.
Oh, and what's funny is he's from Israel.
Oh, right, so that is interesting. So how did he fucking end up in Scotland?
His dad's Scottish.
Ah, that's interesting.
He doesn't speak with a trace of an Israeli accent. He speaks with a Scottish accent.
Okay, so what's happening with the release then? Is it actually released now, or is it still waiting to be released?
Well, Combat released it on digital format. I had a long discussion with them about this because they weren't pushing it really that hard.
No.
we decided to leave combat,
right,
and actually do it ourselves. And I think it's the best idea, because
right.
we can push it better than them. So I'll release it again as independent, and I'll release it myself. But I appreciate everything that combat have done for me, and and Randy Burns did the mixing on Evilution Apocalypse, which enhanced it in unbelievable ways, because he made it sound like an old school thrash song, which I was really happy about. But I think it was time for us to go separate ways with combat, because it was something that I didn't take lightly. But it's just taken so long to get this album out. I think it would have taken a hell of a lot longer to get the album out physically for combat, because they had so many projects going on at the time, and I think
didn't the head honcho have health problems as well or something?
Yeah, he had a heart attack as well. But he's also the singer for Dave Elvison's band, so that takes precedence over everything, really, because they will obviously push that, because there's a lot of celebrities that are playing on their cover album.
Yeah. So where can people buy it then? Can people buy it from you now, or are you going to do a proper relaunch and people can get it, or can I get it from you now, or is it just digital on Spotify?
Well, it's on every social media outlet that you can imagine. I think Combat have done that, and they've done us proud on that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to release it physical. And as soon as I get it back from the duplication, I've also got T-shirts on the way as well, which look fantastic. The album cover looks fucking amazing. We've also got patches, and we've got masks as well.
Dear, I don't know why that's so funny. So you got the virus logo.
I'm really selling this, man.
Yeah.
I've got to, it's at the right time. It's just come at the right time, and it's unfortunate for some people, but it might be beneficial for us.
Yeah, as long as the virus doesn't fuck off before the masks come out, because you might end up with a load of fucking virus masks you can't get shit of.
Oh, fuck, man. You just jinxed it.
I'm sorry. My brain goes there. I apologise, man. Any chance, any possibility of like a vinyl release? Because the vinyl, a lot of people love the vinyl.
Yeah, I will be releasing a vinyl. I will be releasing a vinyl eventually.
Yeah.
I don't know when, but I want to get it on physical first. So the physical release will be on CD. The second release will be on vinyl. It will definitely be released on vinyl.
Put me down for one of them, mate. I'll buy one of them off you when you got it.
Oh no, I'll give you one, man. I'll give you one.
Cool.
I'll send you one.
Oh, fucking hell, that'd be awesome. All right, so we've gone the hour now, mate. So anything else you want to tell us? Anything else coming up? Anything else people to look out for?
Not really. I mean, we're all stuck for gigs. I would say just support the genre. Support everybody who's trying their fucking hardest. To get their bands out there and get them noticed and keep them in the loop. So, I mean, guys, just listen to every new thrash band, old thrash band that are trying to get their albums out there and to the masses, because it's all we can do at the moment is just support your bands, your UK thrash. You've got to. Because it's going to die otherwise. Otherwise, it's going to die. It really is, and I don't really want it to die, because there is so much talent in this fucking country. It's unbelievable.
Have you got any other you're not really active on your social media, are you? A great deal. You're not like pushing your YouTube channel to sort of keep the keep the interest or build the crowd up when you're not doing gigs. You're kind of old school.
That's really not my channel, to be honest.
All right.
I don't really have a channel, and I'm not au fait with with Instagram and Twitter. I don't really go on Twitter. I've got a Twitter account, but I don't think I ever fucking use it, and I don't have a Twitter account for Virus.
Yeah, but that's a good way to keep people's interest going. When you're not actually out there on the road. I know it's new shit. It's not old school, but it's like. Yeah. It's a tool if you can get to use it.
Yeah, and I'm just a lazy bastard. I'm just too fucking lazy. I know I should. I really should.
Yeah.
But I'm just I'm so fucking technophobe when it comes to fucking things like this, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really old school. We've got a manager, Chris Heap,
Right.
who is pumping us. Well, not literally, but
That
you
makes
never know.
Yeah.
If the offer's there, Chris.
Yeah. If the money's right.
Money's right. Money changes hands, and
Yeah.
you know, and Chris is effectively our manager. So he's doing what he can, but within his capabilities.
Yeah.
And he's an absolutely brilliant guy. He has heaps of metal on, and he promotes us all the time on heaps of metal, and he's doing his job. And you know, it's hard. It's really hard. I mean, we've got a video coming out soon for Basement Conversion, which is a song on the album about Joseph Fritzl.
Right.
And of course we've got the Gadget song.
Yeah.
Which is rather comical, and
Yeah.
we're keeping the fun thing in thrash again.
Yeah.
Which you have to
It's
do.
just,
I mean,
yeah, it's tradition, isn't it? It's like tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to my roots, you know,
Yeah.
I have to do it. And you know, Chris will do what he can. He'll promote it. We've got our own PR company, Bespoke Media, who's helping us too. So we're not actually falling into the background. There is people working for us. If it's not me,
yeah,
but it's not me, because I'm fucking. I'm absolutely fucking shit-handed at that stuff.
Yeah. How about have you started writing for the new album yet?
Yeah. I started writing a track called Plandemic.
Right.
It's all about what this whole thing is all about.
Is it a conspiracy tinfoil hat kind of thing?
Well, it's got a tinge of that, yeah. I don't want to get the fucking the SPG at my fucking front door banging on.
Yeah.
You're coming with us and you're never going home again.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, right. I'm gonna have to hang it up now because I've got to go have me dinner and shit, man. It's boring, I know, but you know, hopefully we can hang out again another time. Maybe when you've got like the physical things ready to go or something like that, or when you do the gigs, start touring, we'd definitely be cool to have another chat with you. Anyway, I'll let you, anything you want to say to sign off with?
Just buy the album when it comes out, guys, and push UK thrash to the limit.
Yeah. Cheers. We're out of here. You can hang on.